In Alabama, two desperate criminals fled the custody of a local deputy. Eluding authorities, they made their way across the country in a wave of car theft, abduction, and murder. I'm Jim Kallstrom, former head of the FBI's New York office. Escaped criminals believe they have nothing to lose. They'll do anything to avoid capture.
You're driving alone on a quiet stretch of road, unaware that danger is already on the move. In 1996, two convicted criminals broke free from the law in Alabama. What started as a simple escape spiraled into a cross-country spree of car theft, kidnapping, and murder. By the time the FBI got involved, a foreign military officer had disappeared, and the hunt became a race against time. This is the story of Michael Thompson and Roger Yadden, a pair of fugitives who seemed impossible to catch. It all began on May 21, 1996, in central Alabama. A local deputy was assigned to transport 3 inmates from state prisons to court. Michael Thompson, convicted of murder, had convinced the deputy to let him sit in the front seat during the short ride. Alongside him was Roger Yadden, a career criminal with a history of 17 burglary convictions and 3 previous prison escapes. The third man was on work release. None were handcuffed for the short drive. As they neared Talladega, Thompson made his move. At gunpoint, he forced the deputy to steer the vehicle toward a secluded area in the woods near Lincoln, Alabama. Once there, Thompson and Yadden freed themselves and marched the deputy and the other inmate into the forest. They forced their captives to strip down, leaving them bound and vulnerable. The deputy's extra handcuff key, dropped to the ground, gave him a chance to free himself later. Meanwhile, Thompson and Yadden disappeared into the woods, leaving behind their prison uniforms and taking 2 firearms from the patrol car. By the time the deputy and the other inmate reached help, the fugitives were already on the move, driving a stolen patrol car. The authorities issued a statewide alert, but the rural roads of Alabama provided countless hiding places. For the rest of that day, there were no sightings of the pair, and their trail seemed to vanish. It wasn't long before the first chilling encounter occurred. Paramedic Bob Gordney was pulled over by what appeared to be a sheriff's patrol car. At first, he thought it was routine, but it quickly became clear he had been stopped by the escapees. They forced him into the back of his truck, locking him in the seat for hours while they drove across the state. Trapped in the vehicle's dark confines, Gordney fought panic and dehydration. Using a jack found in the truck, he eventually managed to pry the trunk open and escape. His survival provided crucial information to law enforcement about the fugitives' weapons and methods. Thompson and Yadden's trail led far beyond Alabama. 7 days later, authorities found the abandoned black pickup truck in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Its VIN deliberately destroyed. It was traced back to Gordney's stolen vehicle. The FBI was notified, and the search intensified. These men were no longer just local fugitives. They were now considered armed and dangerous criminals moving across state lines.
The reason we pulled you over is your vehicle fits the description of a vehicle that was involved in a hit and run. And I told him, well, I haven't been in any accident. You know, you can check my truck, you can look around, there's not a scratch on it. And he said, well, your truck fits the description that we've gotten, so we're going to, check it out.
Then came the most disturbing twist. On June 7, 1996, a red car was discovered at the bottom of Fowler Lake near Turode, Indiana. Inside, investigators found personal items belonging to British Army Major David Nichols, his passport, airline tickets, and even an Alabama jail booking slip. Major Nichols, a linguist and vice commander at the British Defense School of Languages, had been traveling through the U.S. for seminars and sightseeing. He had disappeared somewhere between Colorado and New Mexico, and now the evidence linked his car to the escaped convicts. The FBI suspected Thompson and Yadden had kidnapped the major. Investigators traced Yadden's relatives in Indiana, uncovering connections that placed the fugitives near the lake. Items found in a stolen truck, including letters and travel documents, tied the pair to Major Nichols and confirmed that the escapees had continued their crime spree with alarming boldness. By early summer,
not so much with phone numbers, but maybe somebody's first name and an address. One of those names and address led us to a relative of Mr. Yadden who resided in Terre Haute.
FBI agents had established a command post near a high school in Indiana. Through meticulous investigation, they traced Yadin to an auto salvage yard owned by a friend. Undercover agents confirmed Yadin's presence, but could not immediately capture him. The fugitives continued to evade authorities, blending into rural landscapes and exploiting every opportunity to stay ahead.
Roger Dale Yadin, who she believed was in custody in Alabama and had communicated a lot with him in writing as her children had.
Finally, on July 2nd, 1996, Roger Yadin was apprehended at the salvage yard.
Far south end of the salvage yard, we noticed a trailer back in the woods, and there was 2 white males there working.
His accomplice, Michael Thompson, remained at large, an even greater threat to public safety. Special teams surrounded a trailer in the yard where Thompson was suspected of hiding.
That was a terrible disappointment because we figured we were on to him. We caught one, we were looking to get the other one and pretty much make it a clean sweep, and he wasn't in there.
Using tear gas to flush out the fugitive. Despite exhaustive searches and hours of tension, Thompson eluded capture once again.
We used canines and broke up into teams of 3 and 4 officers with canines and searched the area, ran tracks all throughout the lot, the salvage yard area, and then the surrounding woods looking for him, and that took an awfully long time. That went from the time they inserted the gas in the afternoon well past darkness.
The following morning, a tip revealed Thompson's location.
Thompson was asleep in the junkyard in the back of one of the cars near his residence, the trailer.
Asleep in the back of a car in the salvage yard. Exhausted and cornered, he surrendered without a fight. After 43 days, 6,000 miles, and thousands of man-hours, the last of the fugitives was finally in custody. Yadin, hoping for leniency, agreed to cooperate with authorities. His testimony revealed the grim fate of Major Nichols.
To provide all of the information that he and Thompson were involved in, to include the initial escape, to include the carjacking in Alabama. And this is the first time that we learned that the British Army officer had been killed.
According to Yadin, the convicts had followed the British major's travel route in New Mexico, targeting him at a rest stop. Thompson forced Nichols into the trunk of his rental car while Yadin followed in the truck. Despite the major's calm and cooperative behavior, Thompson shot him execution-style in a deserted area. They then abandoned the rental car in Indiana, dumping it in Fowler Lake. The meticulous evidence gathering, including letters and personal effects, confirmed their involvement and ultimately led the FBI to Nichols' remains. Michael Thompson received multiple life sentences, spared the death penalty for murdering a foreign official by pleading guilty, and additional life terms for kidnapping, robbery, and prison escapes in Alabama. Roger Yadin, after cooperating with authorities, was sentenced to 18 years for carjacking. Remarkably, Yadin escaped again during federal incarceration, using a hacksaw to cut through ducts and roof panels, but was recaptured after 5 weeks. This case shows the lengths desperate criminals will go, the dangers posed by fugitives skilled at evasion, and the meticulous work of the FBI and local authorities needed to track, gather evidence, and ultimately bring them to justice. The victims' families, including Major Nichols' wife and children, endured unimaginable fear and uncertainty during the convict spree. For law enforcement, the case was a reminder of the unpredictable nature of criminal behavior and the importance of coordination across state and federal levels. Every tip, trace, and piece of evidence contributed to the eventual capture of the fugitives and the recovery of critical evidence, ensuring that justice could be served. Even after decades, the story of Michael Thompson and Roger Yadin serves as a chilling reminder. Crime doesn't stop at state lines, and the consequences of desperate choices can ripple far beyond what anyone expects. One wrong decision, one moment of desperation, can lead to a chain of events that endangers countless lives, leaving communities shaken and authorities racing against time. The 1996 cross-country manhunt was more than a chase for escaped convicts. It aimed to prevent further tragedy, locate a missing foreign official, and showcase law enforcement's patience, skill, and determination. Though Michael Thompson and Roger Yadin are now behind bars, their crimes remain a stark warning about those who act without regard for law or life. Their story is a case study in criminal audacity, meticulous investigation, and the tense cat and mouse between fugitives and authorities. From Alabama to New Mexico and Indiana, the pursuit spanned thousands of miles, leaving lasting impact on families, agents, and communities, proving that real-life crime can be darker than fiction.